In a perfect world, we should be able to make logical financial decisions. In fact, at the heart of economic theory, you'll find the assumption that people are rational. When we have a decision to make, we will rationally analyze the outcomes and then pick an option that is in our best interest. This is the concept of Homo economicus, and it is an idea that was introduced by the Scottish economist Adam Smith. However, in the imperfect world that we live in, things work out different, and our decisions are driven by beliefs, biases, and perceptions. And rather than taking us closer to our goals and desires, our decisions will take us further away from them. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the problematic behaviors that come out of these beliefs, biases, and perceptions. And as we go along, we are going to talk about how to overcome them. A few weeks ago, I came across an incident of a woman from the rural areas of Kenya. She has 2 young adult daughters, and both of those daughters are working. This woman discovers microlenders and mobile phone debt. There are so many of them, and it feels so easy for her to borrow. So she starts borrowing and piling up that debt to the point where she cannot keep up with the payments, and of course auctioneers are sent to her house to check out what can be sold to pay back the debts. Her daughters, when they hear of this, they are distraught, and so they help her to clear those obligations. You will expect that will be the end of it, but the woman goes back to the lenders. Again, she borrows like crazy. Again, she can't pay back, and again, her daughters must step in to help her. At some point, the daughters realized that this will just never end. They had to put a stop to it. So they called an intervention that involved her family members. They also noticed that the borrowed money could not be accounted for. People say that you borrow to develop yourself, but the daughters could not see the development that was coming from all that borrowing their mother was doing. There were none of those things that people typically buy whenever they are borrowing money. The worst thing, however, was that as long as these girls were bailing out their mom, they were not making progress in their own financial lives. If they had not brought the situation to an end, the mom would have nothing to show for all her borrowing, and the daughters will also have nothing to show for their hard work. This is a situation that can cause great stress from everyone involved and is an example of problematic financial behavior. The mom from this incident seems to suffer from a compulsive issue when it comes to the use of debt. However, a problematic financial behavior that seems to show itself in this situation is called financial dependence. Financial dependence is a reliance on other people for non-work income. The shocking thing about financial dependence is that it is learned. A person will not work if they are able to receive an income without working for it. Let's say that as you grew up, you used to receive an allowance that you did not work for. There is a possibility that you might not see the point in working. There is no connection in your mind between money and putting effort to earn it. Because of this, financial dependence is quite prevalent among children who grew up wealthy and is mockingly called affluenza. There was budding financial dependence for the mom that kept borrowing. She would enjoy the benefits of the loans, whatever those were, and she did not need to fear the consequences because she would be bailed out by her daughters. If the daughters had not put an end to the situation, she would have had an income that she did not have to work for. A person that is financially dependent is full of fear and anxiety. This is because you do not know when the support will end. This anxiety usually turns into anger and resentment towards the person who is doing the supporting. The daughters, on the other hand, were also in the process of developing a problematic behavior called financial enabling. Financial enabling is the inability to say no when someone continues to ask for money. This is the counterpart of financial dependence. For a person to become financially dependent, there needs to be a person who is financially enabling them. As a financial enabler, you will be stressed and depressed. This could be from the strain relationship between you and the person that you are enabling. But more likely, the stress will come from you sacrificing your financial well-being for someone else. The problem is that that sacrifice is for nothing, because rather than helping the person, you are robbing them of the motivation, the passion, and the drive to achieve. The daughters we were talking about had started down the path of financial enabling, and rather than using the income to build a strong financial foundation, they remained financially unstable while enabling their mom. Fortunately, they did not allow it to keep going for long. In addition to this, there was also a degree of financial enmeshment. Financial enmeshment is when a family system operates in a state of increased fluidity, when the boundaries and the rules are no longer clear or appropriate. Dealing with strangers where money is involved is fairly straightforward. You will have an agreement that states everyone's responsibilities and the circumstances where that agreement will come to an end. Dealing with family is not so. We might feel that having those conversations that will set boundaries and responsibilities would be destroying trust and seem offensive. We therefore avoid having those discussions. The problem is that the trust we are trying to preserve by not talking about boundaries will be destroyed by the stress and the resentment that comes from financial enmeshment. When the daughters offered to help their mom with her debt, there should have been conversations. Conversations about their expectations of the future. What kind of help would they be able to offer or not offer in the future? A final type of problematic behavior is financial denial. Financial denial is an attempt to cope by simply not thinking about money or trying not to deal with it. There are times when thinking about money or things related to money is distressing. For example, an important part of your finances is your life insurance. There's a lot to think about related to the amount of life insurance. For example, if something were to happen to you right now, what would your children need? Who would be their guardian? And how would your last expenses be met? None of these things is easy to come to terms with. If you have financial denial, you will either not want to get life insurance or you won't put enough effort into the analysis and you end up just picking a random figure. This will leave your dependents vulnerable. Denial about your retirement will also leave you financially exposed. So will denial about an emergency fund, medical insurance, debt of any kind, budgeting, and any other area of your finances. Denial will keep you from making the changes that you need to make. The fact that the daughters had to call an intervention means that there was some denial on the side of the mom. These problematic behaviors are caused by faulty beliefs about money. When you have patterns of faulty beliefs about money, you might find yourself trapped in a cycle of poor decisions. The beliefs are unconscious, so you might not realize why you do what you do. Professor Brad Kluntz called these patterns of beliefs money scripts, because it is like there is a script that you are following when you act out your financial decisions. First, we have the money worship, and this is where you believe that an increase in your income or a financial windfall is going to solve your problem. Rather than making changes to your finances right now to improve your situation, you decide to wait for big money in the future. And as you wait, you get into revolving debt. Second, we have money status. And this is where your self-worth is tied to your net worth. Specifically, this perception that others have of your net worth. To you, money is a status symbol. The problem with this is that your net worth might not be high enough to give you the status that you feel like you deserve or you desire. And so you would then spend on things that project that status that you want. In the process, you will at best neglect many important financial goals and at worst, and ironically, turn your net worth into a negative by taking on too much debt. Third, you might be in the opposite direction and have a money avoidance. This is where you believe that money is bad or that you do not deserve money. For people with this personality, money can evoke feelings of fear, anxiety, or disgust. Like the money worshiper, you will fail to proactively make important money decisions, but not because you are waiting for a huge amount in the future, but because you do not want to experience the negative emotions that come with talking or thinking about money. Finally, we have money vigilance. This is a pattern of beliefs that leads to being secretive about your money and overly wary of spending it. This might not seem to be a problem at first. The people with this trait will be careful with their money, and as a result, they are going to be financially secure. Unlike the money worshiper, they will not have debt. Unlike the status people, they will not overspend on status symbols. And unlike the avoiders, they do not neglect planning. The problem, however, is money is not an end in itself. It is a means to something. The person with this trait will underspend, and this is going to affect their quality of life. They are going to eat bad food, live in poor conditions, and even neglect their own health. Most people go through periods when they are stressed about money. However, when this stress becomes a constant state, it could be pointing to one of these underlying money scripts. So if you have one of them, what can you do about it? If you have a problematic money behavior, you might need outside help. It is not always easy for us to see our own weaknesses. Someone you trust, or better yet, a financial advisor, will be helpful. You can also head over to bradklutz.com money scripts test to find out what money script you might be operating under. Awareness of a problem is the first step towards solving it. Finally, you need to have a systematic way of approaching your finances, and this could help you overcome these habits over time. First of all, set financial goals. Think into the future and then decide where you want to be financially in the next couple of years. The second thing that you can do is figure out your current financial status, create a net worth statement and a cash flow statement. Are you on track towards achieving your goals? Third, create an action plan to achieve your goals. What do you need to do right now for you to get to where you want to go in future? Number 4, you can integrate your action plan into a budget. What do you need to do every month and yearly for you to achieve your goals? A budget is giving work to your money. Every month, make sure that all of your money has been assigned a task to do. Have a simple way to track your expenses. This way, you will be able to stay within your budget. And finally, regularly review your progress towards your goals. To say that you can be absolutely rational in all your financial decisions might not be realistic. However, you can make sure that whatever bit of irrationality you have will have no significant effect on your finances. Take a step back and look at your money. Are there signs of financial dependence, enabling, enmeshment, or denial? If there are, could the underlying cause be the money script that you are working with? Is your money script the money worshiper, the money status, or the money avoider, or the money vigilance? The first step is to know for sure by taking the money script test. Also, engage a financial advisor to get a systematic way to approach your finances. Math tests are hard, but they are even harder when you take the test while you are anxious. Same with your finances. It is not always easy to get them right, but managing your money becomes a torturous experience when you have the wrong money script, which results in problematic behavior. Fortunately, these habits can be fixed.